Tamra Judge, you will never change. You are incapable of accountability. We've been seeing it for the last 15 years. And, I don't care if you've been to therapy, baptized, jazzercise. You'll never be any different. You're nothing more than a failed Regina George.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
Okay, welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I am Asia Esterak. Okay, The Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19, episode 4. We are still at Heather's belated birthday party, and Katie and Shannon have just finished their nonsense. Katie decides she wants to leave, grabs her husband Matt, who's very spicy, by the way. Let's talk about it. They leave. Katie, you can't take the heat because Shannon called you out. And the fact that you are trying to justify that recording and showing it to Alexis is crazy. So they get up and they leave the party. So as they're leaving, on the way to the party is Tamra. She's finally arriving. And she has someone with her, and it's not Eddie. It's Joe, Slade's ex-girlfriend. So Tamra, you're that weak and pathetic that you can't face Gretchen on your own, so you bring her man's ex to back you up at the party. Girl, you are pathetic. You really are. That just... What did Lizzie call you? I forget what season. She said, Tamra, you are a weak, insecure woman. Girl, clocked it. Tamra, you. This whole episode, I was like, this episode to me solidified how super whack Tamra Judge is, and how she's never going to be any different. You're never going to change. This is who you are. You're a shitty friend. And a shitty coworker too. Like you're not very good. All you do is talk about people and throw out allegations and repeat rumors as if the shit is fact, and then wonder why you keep getting the heat that you get. That's why Jen got your ass together at the end of this episode. I'll hurry up and get to that scene. But anyway, so Tamra and Joe get out. They're walking up to the party to go in as Katie and her husband are leaving. She sees that Katie is leaving, so she goes over to her. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? Where are you going? Oh, we're leaving. I'm leaving. Me and Shannon got into it. This is Katie. Tamara's like, well, what happened? Are you okay? Matt, Katie's husband, had me dying. He was like, you don't care. Why are you asking? You don't care. She's like, what? Katie's like, so Katie tells Tamra that Shannon called her out about the recording and showing it to Alexis. And Tamra's like, what? And Katie's like, yeah, she's the one. She said that you told her. And Tamra's like, what? And Matt's like, you're the one that told her. It was funny. Matt, you were inserting yourself in women's business, but I get it. You're defending your wife. Your wife is totally wrong, but I get it. So, and it's funny because it was like watching two crazy people. I was watching two crazy people argue with each other. Because Katie is sitting there mad at Tamra for telling Shannon what she did. So she's now taking the blame and passing it on to Tamra. Well, you told her. Bitch, you did it. Did Tamra tell you to record Shannon acting a fool and send it to the ops who she happened to be in open litigation with or active litigation? Girl, you're a mess. You're a mess. Listen, you're winning this season because every episode is about your ass, but you're a mess. Tamra, you're a hot ass mess too because you're sitting there trying to justify it when you should have just been like, yeah, I told her because I didn't think that shit was cool. But I'll say this. The main reason Katie is upset is because her thing is, she says this in the confessional, she's like, she had all year to tell Shannon. So why did she wait till that opportunity to tell her? Katie, you're on a reality television show where this shit is a job. And I'll say this. I'm not a fan of Tamra Judge at all, but homegirl clocks in every season. It's what she does. She's the messiest bone collector probably in the history of the Housewives, if I'm, keep it real. Very messy. And she's proven to not be loyal to anyone except herself. She's proven it every season. How many times have her and Vicky fallen out? her and Gretchen, like, and now they're not cool, like, and she's got Joe with her, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you would be lying if you say you didn't do your research on this show. Come on. How many times has Tamra made the headlines for some nonsense she said? So come on. But even though they're both wrong, I understand Katie's kind of venom towards Tamra, because, like, why would you wait a whole year for that? But also, why would you do that? So it was like two snakes arguing with each other. So basically, nothing to see here. So anyway, Katie and Matt leave. So Tamra gets into this party with Joe, and of course they all see her walking in with Joe, and Gretchen's like, so it was funny in the confessional, Gretchen's like, it's not even that she brought Joe, and of course her and Joe are fine, because at this point Slade's been with Gretchen longer than he was ever with Joe. So again, Tamra tried and failed. Like, what was the point of that? You know, you can't own your shit. The reality is you run your mouth consistently and you forget the shit that you say. And when it's played back to you, you try to justify why you said it. Why don't you just go, you know what? I was talking shit and I might have hurt your feelings and my bad. I'm sorry. Or, you know what? I was running my mouth and maybe I need to learn to shut the fuck up. That's what it is. That's that Virgo. Y'all are ruled by Mercury. I should know. I'm a Gemini. We're also ruled by Mercury. Hence this show. Tamra, you're too old to keep deny. You're too old for that. You're too fucking old for that. Come on. The rest of the party concludes. They end up all having a good time. Shannon is cutting loose. I keep forgetting Shannon is 60. Shannon looks good. Shannon has nice legs too. I wish I had nice legs. But she, you know, she was having fun. I love to see Shannon cut up and cut loose and have a good time, because she is very hard on herself. And it was cool to see that she was still able to have a good time despite all the hullabaloo with old girl Katie. But also at that party at the end, you know, of course Jen and Ryan are there and they see Tamra, and there's chatter about that. I'm gonna tell you, I live for Ryan going in on Tamra. Shit's hilarious. I cracked up when she first walked in. He was like, "Oh look, it's Tamra and Joe. Look, Tamra's here with Joe." I fell out. And shout out to Ryan for getting knee surgery and still showing up to shit. Because in one scene, he was walking into a building. I was like, yo, have you rested yet? I'm like, damn. Anyway, so the party concludes. The next day we get to Gina and Travis. She's showing one of her homes, and Tamra's actually meeting her there. And across town, Jen is with Ryan. I forget where they're at, but I think they were shopping. Oh, they were getting veneers. I'll say this, Jen, you keep talking about not having any money and owing people, but every scene where you're not discussing the drama with you and Ryan and Tamra, your ass is buying shit. Buying stuff that ain't paying bills. So in this scene, she's getting veneers. I'm not mad at it. My teeth are fucked up. Eventually, I'll get them too. So, but I just couldn't help to point that out, because she makes a comment about not paying her bills and having to get another job whenever she's buying something. I don't know if you're saving face for that. It's really none of our business, but like, I don't know, girl. I don't know. Anyway, so Gina's showing the house. Tamra shows up. And of course, they start talking about the Jen and Ryan stuff and rehashing what happened at the party. Gina mentioned something about Katie and trying to separate her issue with her versus, well, her drama with Katie versus Katie's drama with everyone else. I hate to break it to you, Gina, but your drama with Katie coincides with everybody else because it all involves lying, which she later talks about. But so Tamra, your therapy is not working, love. So she's talking to Gina and can't understand why. Well, I don't understand why Jen and Ryan keep attacking me. Like, I don't understand. How do you not understand? You repeat shit constantly as if it's facts, and then wonder why motherfuckers be mad at you. So then across town, of course, Jen and Ryan are talking, you know, across town, they're saying the same shit. Ryan's like, she keeps saying shit. Like, she keeps coming for y'all. And Jen's thing is, I don't understand what her obsession is with me. I don't either. And what's crazy is Tamra's trying to say that Jen is obsessed with her. You said it You said it a few episodes ago. It's giving you're obsessed with her. That's what it's giving. Tamra, you're very in denial. It's like you're so anxious not to own shit that you're passing it off to everyone. It's like you're incapable of seeing where you messed up. You know, you don't even take it a little. You don't even give a little. You're just like, no, I'm going to justify it. No, your therapy is not working. I don't know. We'll check in a year and see where you're at. But girl, I'm still seeing the same person that I saw from day one. But okay. Anyway, so after that, we get to these ladies, I swear. So I'm skipping over a lot of scenes. There was scenes with Heather in her house selling it, and both Josh's from the real estate show. A lot of fluff. Let me get to it. So Emily, Gina, is it Emily and Gina? I think Emily and Gina meet up with Heather at this like flying yoga studio thing. That Shannon on them ropes had me dying. Shannon is hilarious. She's so uncoordinated. I love it. And at the same time, Heather is, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't Emily. I can't remember who it was, but it was Emily, somebody, and Shannon. I cannot remember who that was because across town, Heather and Gina were meeting with Katie. It might have been, you know what? It might have been Emily and Jen and Shannon. It was somebody. Anyway, so they do the little yoga studio thing. That shit was hilarious watching Shannon on them ropes. And then they start talking about, of course, the Katie situation. So across town, Gina and Heather are meeting up with Katie at this coffee shop to talk about the situation. So we find out in this scene, once again, Katie sits down with this very famous blogger and I think she's a YouTuber. I've seen her before. Her name is Kiki, some cute black lady. They go to a luncheon and Heather relates to Katie. She's like, we heard that you were telling Kiki to release stories to hurt us. And of course, Katie's like, what? No. And she's like, who told you that? And Heather was like, Tamra. So of course, cross town, Emily and Jen and Shannon are talking about the same thing. And of course, Shannon's like, Jen, you know, questions anything Tamra has to say. Which earlier on, Jen even says, like, I don't understand why Tamra keeps coming for me. Why is she so obsessed with me? And it just seems like Tamra's obsessed with whoever's hot at the moment. Because all she's talking about is Katie and Jen. I don't know. Anyway, but not Jen, but Katie, you've given Tamra a lot to talk about. Let's be honest. So, of course, Katie is denying that. And she's like, why would she say that? I've never said that. So, of course, Bravo flashes back to Tamra at Heather's birthday party, telling all of them that Katie has been feeding stories and wants stories to release on all of them. So, of course, Katie's denying it. Gina, this is when Gina brings up to Katie's face, you know, it's hard because I'm trying to separate the issue that I had with you last year, but it's the same issue that the other ladies have with you. And of course, in her confessional, she says the same thing. She says, the problem is it's all lies. Everybody's issue. I was totally wrong, by the way. Let me catch myself. I had to run back real quick and look. It was Emily, Gretchen, and Shannon, not Jen. Sorry, guys. So of course, you know, Gretchen had a lot to add to this scene too, because she even says it. She's like, Tamra has not changed. She's the same as she was when I met her 15 years ago. You know, still messy and whatever. And they all agree that they don't think this, you know, the therapy is really working the way that it is. You know, Shannon and Tamra aren't too cool. And Shannon even adds her 2 cents. She's like, it's the same behavior. It's repeated. And that's the thing, Tamra. You go on. You're like Ramona in the New Beginnings parties. Girl, it's a new beginning for you every season. But you never begin. You've never begin. That's the problem. And it's like, Tamra, you were the messy star of this episode. Because Katie's a mess too. But Tamra, this is who you are. This is who you are. Katie, this is who you are. So I appreciate Heather in this scene because Heather didn't jump down Katie's neck, but she told her, like, I have to address this because it keeps coming up. This is a repeat issue. And it's the same issue. And it keeps coming up with different people. So, of course, her whole fixation is Tamra Judge. And the reality is Katie, again, my bad. My alarm went off and I forgot to turn it off. So that's my bad. But anyway, what I was saying is, what's funny is we're watching two separate conversations about two of the biggest snakes on the show at the moment. So, y'all, to me, Tamra, you're mad at Jen about the stuff with her and Ryan. You're getting the credence that you deserve. Katie, you're getting the credence that you deserve because the reality is both of you two have been running your mouth. And Katie, you got snaked by the biggest snake on the show. So it is what it is. And Tamra, maybe you should shut up. Maybe you should just shut up. Because the final scene that we end on in this episode is with Jen and Tamra. So they go to meet up because Jen wants to figure out what's the tea, what's the problem. That's really what it is. What's the problem, Tamra? So they meet up, and it's pleasant at first, and then Jen gets right to it. Jen's like, there's so much I wanted to, because Tamra's like, so what do you want to talk about? Which is hilarious. Girl, you know what you want to talk about. Jen's like, there's so much to talk about. It is, what's your issue with me? What is your obsession with me? Like, why do you keep talking about me? And Tamra's like, why do you keep talking about me? And Jen's like, you came from my marriage. You made salacious comments about where I live, that FBI hat comment, like all that, the FBI stuff, all the stuff that you've made, and you wonder why I have a problem with you. I had to defend myself against my ex-husband because of you, which Tamra, she done said this how many times? We're on episode 4. She said this a few times. So Tamra is just, Tamra, you're crazy. Deflecting, denying, deflecting. You're not owning anything. And Jen's like, that's the problem. You won't own anything. So then Jen starts calling out Tamra, calling her a cheater and saying that she came to her gym. Jen's like, my yoga studio was down the street from your gym. I was never coming for you. You just make stuff up. And then you calling me a cheater. Didn't you do the same thing with Simon? Wasn't there an overlap as well? Tamra low-key admits it. So Jen's like, so then why are you coming for me when you did the same thing? Bingo. Exactly. And then Jen brings up Tamra talking about how she used Jen used her old hair extensions. Jen's like, that wasn't true. We went to the same hairdresser. They told me that you were there right before me for some event. You ended up not using the hair extensions. I made a joke about it. You took it and ran with it like I'm copying you or something. Because she does compliment her on the belt, a belt that they wear. A lot of these shows, a lot of these housewives on these shows all use similar stylists, shop at the same places. That's why on a lot of these shows you see them wearing similar shit. So that isn't out of the ordinary. Tamra, the reality is you're not the hot bitch in town anymore. And I feel like you're a little jealous of Jen because you are obsessed with talking about them. You continue to talk about them. That's why they continue to talk about you. I said that in another review. You met your match. And what's funny, you know what I like about Jen? Jen comes off quiet and weak, but if you turn her on, if you turn Jen on, she gonna turn on. Because she gathered Tamra's ass at that table. Gathered her. She gathered her so hard that everybody else was looking, and Tamra got up. You know what? This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. I bet you were leaving. You were, because you run from the truth. You can't face yourself. You can't. That's why your ass keeps crying in therapy every damn week. You said this is the longest you've been in therapy with that scene with your daughter. You need to stay in therapy till you're done. And when I mean done, like leave Earth. Like you need to stay in therapy because you're not getting it. You're not getting it. And I have a feeling you're going to be a hard nut to crack. Tamra, you're not a stupid person, but you don't take accountability. And if you think explaining your bad behavior away consistently is the thing, it's not. Because even when you do apologize, you go right back and do the same stuff. Anyway, this was a good episode. before I go, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Katie has a scene with her husband Matt that I skipped over because whatever. But I fell out because in the scene he was like, it's interesting that everyone else keeps getting upset with you when Tamra Judge is in this group and she's the biggest liar. He said something similar to that, but I was like, he's right. He's right. And Katie, I think you and Tamra might be the same person. Y'all are very similar. You guys have similar flaws, similar bad social cues, a lot of similar shit. You both run your mouth. This was a good episode. I don't know. I really don't know. Katie, girl, I don't know. Tamra, I know. We all know. Anyway, happy Friday, you guys. Have a great weekend. Stay hydrated. Be nice to each other. And let me get out of here and go return these videotapes.